good morning to everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. I can't see the viewers, but I'm sure we're getting some good viewership for this particular panel. My name is Pankil Shah. I'm a director at Neighborhood Hospitality based out of Bombay. We have brands such as Woodside Inn, The Pantry, Woodside Burger Shop. And today I'm very excited to introduce some of our newest panelists as part of NRAI's Insider's Guide powered by Petpooja. Um, NRAI's Insider's Guide is a series of panel discussions on the various verticals related to the restaurant industry. Today's panel discussion focuses on one of the most important aspects of our industry, our teams. As one of the most manpower intensive industries, HR plays a critical role in any form of restaurant, be it casual or fine dining, and QSRs as well. In this panel, we will try to provide insight into the various ways in which our teams play a vital role in providing guest satisfaction. We will also touch upon some of the HR policies and structures that are prevalent in different organizations, which can help all the viewers of this panel. Our panelists today come from some of the top companies in the restaurant industry. I'll introduce all of them. Today, going first, we will have Niloy Chakraborty. He is the National Business Head for Wow Momos. Niloy Chakraborty has been a core member of the organization for over a decade. During this tenure, he has and continues to support and groom whenever an opportunity presents itself. Being on the pillars behind a people-centric organization, it is with utmost pride that he inducts individuals from all communities to be a part of the QSR space. Employee engagement, satisfaction, and mental health are closely monitored, barring his busy schedule. Women empowerment, safety, and hygiene are prioritized. He is also an integral part of the learning and development team, be it from the inception of a product to the quality and guest service in the outlet. He is a perfectionist to say the least. Maintaining integrity, identifying opportunity areas, reformation, and ensuring a seamless yet challenging path to organizations' profitability is one of his many achievements. Niloy, please go ahead.
So today I will just discuss certain thing that we have done it exceptionally from our side, being from Wow Momo and in the QSR retail food retail industry. So obviously, apart from the payroll and the general HR, some of the steps we have always prioritized in terms of taking our employee, maintaining the retention, and controlling the attrition rate as well. So I will just go through with certain practice about our HR department, from our HR department, about retaining employees. So first, I would like to say that we do not consider our employee as a member of the organization. Rather, we consider them as a stakeholder. They are the part of this Wow family, and this is all about our vision and mission to become the largest Momo brand in the entire world, competing and following the path of KFC, McDonald's, Domino's. So we want to become the largest Momo chain in the entire world, and this is our holistic view of HR practices. We starting from joining, induction, training, providing buddy trainer, being in the outlet, be with them, teaching them everything from starting from product steaming to the final serving, welcoming the guest. So these are the regular practices. We keep doing it. The key areas to perform, obviously, our basic motto is to enhance the transparency between the system, between the customer contact, and obviously improving the service as well, because it's not about product that we always concentrate. It is all about spreading happiness, because we always demand that we might not be serving the best product in the world, but obviously the most consistent product. So if you go to any Wow Momo outlet all over India, whether it is Chennai, Delhi, Kolkata, you will find the best consistent product, and always it is same. So to maintain that, it's a 24-hour involvement with all of our employee. So coming to the basic thing, best HR practices, obviously I have mentioned pause sensitization, female safety, listening complaints, self-defense, counseling session, and employee satisfaction survey. So I'll just come one by one. Pause sensitization, when I'm talking about pause sensitization, it is all about like protection of sexual harassment. So we have a ICC committee, internal committee made by our HR team, lead by all the female employees from the HR team. So what they do basically, in terms of any harassment, in terms of any sexual harassment, first of all, that we listen. So we are available 24-hour. We convey this message to our female employee that we have ears, we are listening to you, understand, and then a series of investigation, and finally we take the action. So cases are there because obviously when female are working inside the outlets, obviously there are certain things are bound to happen. So it's not about that how to control the problem, but how to solve the issues. So that is something very important, and that we keep doing it in a regular basis. Apart from that also, we keep conducting post session in all our corporate offices. And apart from that also, self defense session that I have mentioned it here. Self defense session is all about that we have a panel of different people, apart from female athlete also, who are representing India in Commonwealth Games in karate. They regularly come to attend the session, and they teach our female employee about self-defense. So this is a major steps that we have taken from last 2 years. It is being conducted in every month. And apart from that also, we have counseling session for everyone, for all our employees. So because we provide our 100% concentration on mental health. It is all about not about that the time when you are working in the outlet or maybe working in the office. Rather, it's a 24-hour journey. You should be happy, from happy, mentally happy. And that's what exactly we always target from our HR team and the L&D team as well. So for mental counseling session, we have several counselors available in all the cities, and employees are free to go anytime, free of cost. Obviously, they can attend the session, they can take the medication, and finally come back to work and give your 100%. That's what exactly we target for. Best HR practices, general practices like rewards and recognition, employees engagement, empowering a specially able individual, and all these. Apart from that also, I would like to mention here one more HR practices that we have done it successfully from last 2 years, is recruiting transgender people in the outlet. So a transgender people, why? Because we just want to break this gender barrier. It's not about only male female, rather we have recruited so many people from the LGBTQ community, and the best part is that they are successfully working in different outlets. We have a couple of transgender who are working and serving momos. So that is the best step, because somehow or the other we thought that they should also be coming in the front league, and they should be equal like others. So there is no gender barriers, and we are just breaking that. Empowering employees, obviously we keep conducting city open house in every 3 months for all the cities. We are present in 15 cities right now with 500 outlets. So we keep conducting city open house, celebrating festival and national holiday, health camp, obviously medical health camp for their physical checkup, eye checkup. That is also being done regular basis. We have a separate session called Ladies Night. Every month we conduct. Only female employee, they go there and they enjoy, they celebrate, and we encourage them to do that. Obviously, the departmental meets are also there. We celebrate International Transgender Day, since we have a good number of transgender employee working in our organization. Transgender Day of visibility. There is another thing that also we keep celebrating. International Women's Day, International Men's Day, and International Day for persons with disabilities. Since we have a good number of people who are physically challenged, deaf and dumb employee, so we have a special day for them. We all, like everyone, celebrate this day. There are certain people who are successfully here, working here. They are from the transgender community. Shreya Kiran, Subhashish Datta, Manojit Paul, Tumpa Bag. They are in different outlets. Shreya is working in a Bangalore outlet, Wow Momo, and he is working from last 3 years. Right now, he's a restaurant manager, serving happiness, serving momos to all of our customers and the end consumer. So this is one that we have a target. We have a dream that we want to make in this coming year, we want to make one outlet. It would be completely run through transgender, starting from housekeeping to the manager. Everybody would be transgender, and this is another practice that we are targeting. So this is all about our best HR practices, and I hope that this entire journey, where the main target is controlling attrition and retaining people does not mean that someone would be resigning and after that we will sit for retaining him. It's all about every day you need to provide them the best service, and in the meantime you need to make them understand, make your employees understand that you are always with them, whether it is a personal need, whether it is a commercial need, whether it is a professional need. It's not about money they look for another job. It's all about that they feel uncomfortable during their workspace. So you need to make them comfortable, you need to make them happy, and convince them that you are a part of this wow journey, and that's what exactly we target for. Thank you very much.
Niloy, thank you very much. I think it's very impressive to see that inclusiveness is such an amazing part of the Wow Momo culture. Because to build a truly world-class organization, we all know that diversity, inclusiveness needs to be a part of the culture if a world-class organization has to be built. And it's impressive to see that Wow Momo is focusing on all these aspects. So thank you very much. Next, we're going to be moving on to Mr. Rupa Gopal Krishnan. He's the training head for Azure Hospitality, an astute hotel professional with a vast qualitative and rich operational experience in restaurant management, bar management, training and development. He has worked with brands like Oberoi, ITC, Marriott, Fairmont, and is currently working with Azure Hospitality Private Limited as training head for their pan-India operations. Hands-on experience in designing and implementing training programs for bringing keen customer focus, high energy level, and team spirit in the employees has been part of his job profile. He has distinction in establishing optimum relationships with the team members to create harmonized environments. Rupak, over to you.
Hi, Pankaj. I thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone, the esteemed panelists and all our viewers. I'll be talking about the role of training primarily with relation to HR. Obviously, training and HR work hand in hand, and it's a quintessential part of the HR process as well. Basically, I'll give you an overview of how it is related and what are we doing here in HR and how it would help in terms of easing the issues that we are facing today, primarily with relation to the human resource, the attrition, and all those issues that we are facing nowadays. So basically, the first I will start with the need for training and the role that it plays with HR, right? So we all are aware that training nowadays there are a lot of institutes which have come up and a lot of people who are coming out of these colleges and but nevertheless there has been in the very recent past we have faced this scenario where there is a lot of lack of demand in the institutes itself. So there are people who have joined the institution. I got to hear that there were 60% seats in the hospitality colleges which were basically left vacant this year. So there is a dearth in seats. I mean, dearth in participants, in students joining these colleges, and also quite a few of them who are coming out from the colleges. The quality of education that they are receiving, and we have to unlearn a lot of things and relearn once when they come on board on the floor. There is a lot of learning process that we need to redo apart from what they were doing, which was more theoretical than practical. The training plays a very predominant role here. So we basically train and teach them the skills of the trade, and apart from that there is a lot of personal level development also we do with these new joinees and the workforce. So the value addition is on a personal level also, apart from organizational benefits that we do, because since we know that at the SME level, there is a huge lack of organized coaching, which actually, if we see, is pretty much non-existent. But at least my slide moving. So basically, what we do here is that we do an overall development of an individual once he comes into an organization, and we do an organized. We make them learn and enhance life. It's a life skill enhancement on a total level and quality of an individual. So there is a growth in terms of monetary, as well as status and a personal growth in totality. If we primarily see, 80% of the teams that we enroll are intrinsically demotivated, because a lot of people want to go into either in our Indian educational system. A lot of people would either want to join either the engineering or the medical services. There are a lot of people who would not by choice want to come into hoteliering. So once they join, they to an extent are intrinsically demotivated in the first instance itself. And when they come and work with our organizations, they tend to further develop that same feeling and impart that further to other people. So training here plays a very significant role. So the type of training that we need to impart is that we basically have to have a very welcoming and exciting feeling. And anybody who comes into the industry today would basically want to know what's in it for me once they join the organization. So it has to be a very meaningful engagement first of all. So the entire training process to be a very exciting endeavor and a welcoming one, wherein the entrant gets to know what exactly is there in for him, and it has to be a meaningful engagement. So when somebody comes in and joins into any organization and he gets to go through an induction program, the training actually starts at that level itself, primarily. And we would see that a lot of organizations, we do not, this would be the next slide, second one. So on a lot of organizations, there isn't much induction that is done, and it is more of an on-job enrollment than a induction. So once a new entrant comes and joins an organization, his training would start from the way that we induct him into the company, the way we treat him there, the kind of information that we share with them, the kind of welcoming in terms of the kit, whether it is his uniforms, his ID cards. There is a whole process that needs to be done prior to his joining, and then when we relate a lot of information to these people about the organization that they are joining, so that gives them that is, firstly, it is the first step of their training by default into the company, and then they feel as if they are welcomed. And it's a role which the HR and training collectively plays, which is majorly significant. And then obviously then we go on to the floor, and there is a lot of on-job training which happens through the course of the day and the time that they stay with us. uh, However, these trainings also, which, because they have a very tough and demanding career profession, this training also needs to be handled in a way that it is very easy and non-cumbersome. So it needs to be merged with the kind of job that they are doing. And it, at a lot of times, it basically needs to be focused on behaviors of these people, and before the outcomes that we want to basically get from these people when they're joining our organizations. And how we could primarily do this is that if we particularly figure out what is the training need that each individual or section of the industry would need, then we can pinpoint those training programs. Obviously, everybody would be doing a training need analysis, because nowadays a lot of people are largely in the industry having difficulties and challenges in terms of communication, for, let's say, per se, or soft skills, apart from just product knowledge. Product is something which now has to be there. I definitely, it is the most important part of it. But the consumer is also quite educated and aware of products these days. But in terms of our training that we impart, have to be a lot of behavioral communication and soft skill that we do. And obviously, we have our panelists who would be talking on the tech-based part of it. But tech is a major part which plays in terms of the accessibility of these trainings now. And we, whether it is programs that are based on from a mere thing, something like a WhatsApp which we share, to anything that we do on Google Drives and programs that we make. Technology plays a huge role in terms of its accessment wherever they are and at any point of time that suits them, basically. So this is a major part of it. And then there is a constant evolved learning that needs to be done, because the trends are changing now in our market. If we see, it is touchless menus now. The way payment gateways have come in with various different things. So it is evolving in a large way. So it has to be a constant, and not the orthodox training procedures that we had been following since long time. And at the end of the day, anybody who comes into the organization, it would be basically, we are also developing leaders within the industry itself. So I would like to go to the next slide. At Azure, I'll give a slight insight into what we do at Azure Hospitality in our company. We basically have our in-house training program, which we call the ART. It is the Azure Root Training. So basically, this focuses primarily more so on the base level, because once the root of the pyramid is strengthened, the top level automatically will go and strengthen itself. So we put a lot of emphasis on the base level, on the root program. So we have made an in-house training program which we basically run through the entire organization pan India. And apart from these core theoretical training, we also put a lot of emphasis on culture building, apart from mere training. So uh, the next slide, I'll show you what basically goes into this. But basically, the culture building of an organization. So it is not just a training an organization which works on. Obviously, if you see, we call it the Azure Dharma, wherein we have our core values of the organization. So whether it is growth of the team, whether it is loving our customers, making it without making excuses on a daily level, learning constantly. And there are four primary core values which we follow from top to bottom, whether it is from our corporate office down till any of the outlets and people that we have from manpower. So it is, we all want all of them to be accountable, respectful, flexible, and being and a team player. So this is what we basically train and preach from every part of the organization. So it is a culture building also, apart from just mere training. So then we do a lot of we nurture training leads within the organizations, who are basically our eyes and ears, who impart these trainings pan India to different cities and zones. And then we have various tests and certification process, with which we do a lot of internal growth mapping. And that is how we retain the talent pool and ascertain that people who are working with us are groomed and trained in a manner that we can internally grow them and not hire people from outside the organization. And then we there are certain processes put in place where we do a religious monthly and weekly check-in with our line staff, through the founders, the promoters, and the directors. The HR takes part in it, and the training, wherein we make calls to these people, and then we figure out their issues that they face in terms of the operational level on the ground floor. And every first Wednesday of every month, we do a monthly meetings, wherein we do, it is a communication channel that we do where we physically also connect with the teams, and we do a small session where we celebrate their birthdays, etc. And we talk about the challenges that they are facing. We talk a bit about their profitability, sales targets, and stuff like so. It's a way of communicating to the teams down below also, right? This is what we do at Azure in our company, and then I obviously we are also discussing and talking about what the future role of manpower is going to be playing in relation to the hospitality industry. So I think we all are aware of this saying that we have heard that in hotels and restaurants, we are primarily, there are humans who are serving the humans, other humans. So uh, irrespective of how much robotics and automated systems would come in, the element of human touch, whether it is a human smile, whether it is that human feeling, is of utmost essence, basically. So that would never go away in my view. And once we work towards giving a specific environment, and obviously the remuneration is a part of it, which is always been a challenge in our industry, where we say that in terms of the work profile, the work pressure, the stress, the remuneration has never been compatible. So once we are able to make this balance of the work environment and the remuneration, obviously people will reinstall their faith in the industry, and there would be more people would wanting to come back and join this as a career option rather than just by chance. So these colleges which are lying vacant now need to be filled up and back to track. So basically, whether we do, Niloy was also talking about a lot of team engagement activities, which we all do across the border. And then we also make sure that we do a lot of performance appreciations and we give constant feedback. So it's a back and forth flow of info, of feedbacks, of performance reviews, and opportunities and spaces where we can actually implement and grow as a from the owner perspective and also as an employee perspective. So that is what is basically going to reinforce this growth and take it forward. So now that most of the teams are working, as we know, they are pretty much working long hours and extreme conditions. So there has HR plays a very vital role as being the touch point for any kind of grievance redressal, whether it is with relation to issues, personal issues that people working on the floor have, or it is what Niloy was saying, whether it is with sexual harassment councils that we have. There has to be a 24/7 hotline access to people working, giving speedy solutions so that they feel that it's a easy streaming process that is basically being followed, right? So that is the main thing. So like in the industry, what we say, if we actually come to think of it, I'll just close with this. I think we are running short of time also. That in the industry, like if we look at the icons of the industry, whether it is the Obroys or the ITCs, what they primarily do in terms of attrition, what they would always have been doing is that they pay the remunerations on time. One thing, they feed these people well. Number two. Number three, they have a very comprehensive training program wherein everybody has to go through that, and willingly and unwillingly they are bound to learn things while they are working there, right? And on top of that, they have these internal programs where they have the executive development program or the step up programs where growth is basically nurtured from within the organization. So once we ascertain these four things, which is the remuneration on time, feeding them well, like had the great opportunity of working with these organization and Robrois and stuff. And but the general managers of the hotels would dine in the cafeteria, right, as a twice or thrice a week. So obviously they've been fed well, right? And then there are strong internal training programs which from day one onwards you have to follow them, and your growth from at each level is tracked. And then right, so the training programs are there. pay packages which are pretty competitive in the market. So you're paid on time, you're fed well, you're trained well, and lastly, they have programs which basically internally develops them into the next levels of managerial level and eventually leaders. So we have people from these fraternity working pretty much in all companies and organizations, in retails and hotels, also everywhere now. So that is the culture that we need to basically inculcate, and training and HR has to work hand in hand for that. That pretty much sums up my thing, Pankaj.
Thank
Thank you
you
for
very much, Rupak. I think our team runs on our how happy our stomachs are. I think that's
absolutely.
quite important. And I think one important point that you mentioned was, you know, everybody in the restaurant industry needs to know about the products. Of course we do,
Yeah,
but training needs to move and evolve beyond that. And it's, you know, with initiatives like you've mentioned, that will keep attrition in control and keep our teams happy. So thank you for sharing your insights.
yeah.
We'll move on to the next panelist. We have Rishi Khiani. Rishi is the founder and CEO of Calm.com, and he's a well-known name in the media and consumer tech space. He's also the co-founder of Fork Media and owns brands such as Curly Tails and Mashable. And he's also been involved in founding multiple successful startups like Urban Eye Media, which was acquired by the Network 18 Group, and Scootsy, which was acquired by Swiggy. Rishi has led two of India's largest internet conglomerates as the CEO of Times Internet Limited, where he built Ghana, and COO of Web 18, responsible for the launch and revamp of all Network 18 verticals like Money Control, IM.com, Cricket Next, and Book My Show. Over to you, Rishi.
Thanks so much. Thank you for the introduction, Pankaj, and thank you for inviting me to the session. First off, I've always been part of the technology disruptive cycles, and when I was working closely with the NRAI, I've been working with the NRAI now for the last 4 or 5 months, and we were really looking at how technology can play an active part in some of the issues that we were facing, especially around the HR, manpower, recruitment, acquiring talent, and also the retention of talent. And there were few things that stood out. One is that a large part of India, a large part of the workforce is migratory, and therefore there has never been an initiative, a grassroots initiative.
I think it's going to be interesting to hear your point of view as well, because everything is tech enabled these days, and how tech plays a role in HR is going to be quite interesting for our viewers and for me as well personally.
Yeah, so like I was saying, we've been working closely with the NRAI, and the thought was, for the longest time there have been solutions that have been more horizontal solutions, and they have largely addressed maybe some part of the workforce, whether it's the blue collar workforce or whether it's the management. But there hasn't been a holistic platform that's looked at different aspects of acquiring talent, of retaining talent, and skilling talent from time to time. And that was really the genesis of Calm.com. So Calm.com is a platform which is a nationwide recruitment, skill development, and financial inclusion platform, and it's primarily focused in the workers in the hospitality industry. The NRAI as a partner has onboarded a large part of its members, and we've been working closely over the last couple of months, just like I said, to understand how do we bridge the gap between demand and supply. So we'll take you a little bit through the platform. Again, this required fresh eyes. We really had to get into why is it that people enter the industry, why is it that they kind of are holding back from entering the industry, and then once they're in, what are the different points of skill development, of basically making sure that there is a match between the expectations that a person has when they join a workforce or join a company, and then your ongoing career pathway where they actually see some growth. At the same time, they add value to the organization that they join, and therefore we looked at every aspect of this. So at the core is obviously the demand and supply, and that's where we've built a marketplace model for full-time, part-time, and on-demand jobs. Um, the ability for you to actually shortlist candidates, and not just be a database where you acquire a data of candidates and then actually call them. We needed to kind of take that entire experience of shortlisting and interviewing and bring it onto the platform. So we built that. A large part of the skill development is now in partnership with a lot of our skilling partners like the THSC and NSDC, and we are actually building out a platform now with the team at the NRAI. Um, on the other end, we have access to salary back credit, spot loans, education, and various other aspects that we thought would add and be beneficial to the life of the employee and people within the hospitality sector. So we launched our app, and this is now available in Play Store. We launched this about 2 months ago and have slowly been gaining traction. We now do about 500 to 600 downloads a day from candidates that are within the hospitality industry. And our marketing efforts have just started, so we'll ramp this up significantly over the next couple of months. But the app uh, provides you with the ability as a company to kind of create a showcase of the best aspects of your company. So whether you want to highlight your benefits, or you want to highlight the work environment, your peers, people within the organization, the app lets you do that. And this was done largely because a lot of times people hear about jobs and hear about roles, and then they do their background checks and stuff, but that's still not a great it doesn't give you an overview of an organization, the culture and stuff. And a lot of times you see people leave organizations because there isn't a culture match. And therefore, having the ability to actually look at an organization and make an informed decision that I want to work for this organization, or reach out to peers who are within that organization and figure out what are the benefits, how does this assist you with your own growth path, was super important. And so that's been built into the platform. Largely, again, we looked at what was out there and we realized that there were gaps. So a lot of times, posting a job description requires your HR team to have some sort of internal skills, and a lot of smaller organizations, SMEs, didn't have that internally. So we've created an automated platform for you to actually just put in your core requirements, and then the AI engine writes your JD for you and posts it on our platform. We've also got a matching algorithm that makes sure that the right candidates are matched to the right job. And as we're scaling up our marketing, and we get an influx of more candidates, this will actually improve, and you'll actually be able to see candidates that effectively match from 100% to about 90% for a job role. Visibility on geography, again, post-pandemic, we've seen that people want to work close to where they live. And so far, there hadn't been a platform that had taken a hyper-local approach to show you jobs. Our platform does. So you click on the maps and it shows you different organizations, different restaurants, different hotels that are near you and are more suited to whatever your commute needs are. We've used video audio in a big way because, again, to take the need of having someone to come in a physical for a physical meeting the first time is always a challenge, given that a lot of people within the organization may have timings that don't match. So we've used video and we've used audio in a way to automate the interview process, and the pre-screening obviously happens through that. The interface has been completely gamified, so it's got the ability to swipe left and swipe right, and I think all of those UX decisions were done just to ensure that we created a faster experience and something that hadn't been done before for a job seeker and for a job creator. Within each company, we know that there are different people who may be hiring, and therefore we've done a rights management, the ability for you to assign roles to someone in your department. So if you're hiring for front of house, you can assign the role to a particular recruiter. Now, what happens with that is you bring down the time it takes to go through HR and go through various channels. It just takes you directly to whoever the reporting manager is, and they can make their decisions right there on who they need to hire, who they want to interview, and who they want to shortlist. And the platform has been built to allow you to have the entire process online. So right from shortlisting to the finalization of various whether it's negotiation, sharing of data, sharing of documents, all of that happens on the platform, and then basically you can actually onboard them through the platform. The reason we we want to push for onboarding also through the platform is because then there's accountability and traceability. A lot of times you see that people jump jobs for a little more, or they come into an organization for a few days and then they kind of move out, and there is no accountability for any of that. So it was important for us to build that into the system. On the back end, we are using blockchain to ensure that things like your police verification, your background checks, a lot of that you typically would require when you're onboarding a candidate is taken care of. And while that's something in the pipeline, we've already started with certain aspects, especially around the feedback loop that comes in from the employees and the employers. And for companies and for different brands that would like to outsource the recruitment, that we've created a platform again where we've used technology for various aspects of this. It's a recruitment process outsourcing option, and let's Calm represent your brand. And there are multiple channels that we then go look at for acquiring talent, with obviously our platform being the core. But then the goal is to become almost like an ambassador for the organization, make sure that we're looking at the right talent, looking at the right interview process, and finally assisting with the entire onboarding. So taking some of the heavy lifting off from our partners. That's the RPO process. And that's been, for I think now over the last couple of months, 60% of our partners who have signed up for the application have also signed on for the RPO. So that says that it is working. We are seeing some traction. We're able to provide candidates faster, and I think that's an important part of the overall value proposition. So for those that require the self-serve model, they use the app, they can post on the app and basically look at candidates and shortlist candidates. And then those that require a more hands-on approach from our organization, we're offering that through the RPO services. We realized that obviously retention is a challenge. So while the app takes care of the acquisition part, and within the acquisition part, you have a different kind of strategy for the freshers that come into the industry. So you need to constantly create new supply, new candidates come into the system, because again, a large part of this is that if you're constantly hiring from each other's companies, then it's just a revolving door, and we're constantly going to have the problem of poaching. So it's important that hospitality as an industry, becomes something that is tempting for an individual once they graduate or once they finish college. And that was something that was super important when we were building out the application and the platform. So while the first part, which is the marketplace, has launched, the second part, which is the benefits app, is something that we are launching. We have run a pilot so far with the Chocolate Spoon company, and have onboarded 300 of their employees to provide early salary, short-term loans, and basically with Onsurity, who's a partner, insurance and healthcare. I think in the first week itself, there were 2 claims that that we took care of right away. So the reason we had the pilot was to test our system, to test the back end, and now we feel that we're ready to kind of offer the Calm Benefits app to the entire ecosystem. And there are 4 pillars to this. There is the early salary bit, and this is an important part, because a lot of times what happens is within the organization, you'll have people that are blue collar workers, or who basically are living on a smaller income, and they require loans for any kind of contingencies, any emergency, and they'll typically go out to a money lender and borrow money at a really high rate of interest. Now, just to fill the gap of that interest rate, they'll see that they'll take a job even for 500 rupees more. So therefore they're very driven by the commerce aspect and the needing to pay whatever the gaps are, rather than so why can't a company actually so we obviously work with an NBFC for this, but I think as a value add, having the ability to actually plug into your attendance management system and know that okay, this employee has worked for 7 days of the month or 20 days of the month, and therefore we should be able to extend them a salary backed loan at a nominal or no interest rate, is something that now we can provide. So our benefits app actually ties into your ATS or to a system where your HR manager or anyone who is a direct manager can approve or disapprove a person's loan, and up to 75% of their salary can be redeemed at any point of time. So that is something that we saw, works. It's something that assists them in many ways in the emergencies. Insurance and healthcare. This is the first time that a monthly insurance scheme has been worked out, especially for this sector. So with Chocolate Spoon, it was about 130 or 140 rupees per employee, but that gives them a coverage of 1 lakh and up to 3 lakhs for accidental, for any kind of accident. And it gives them a 25% discount on all of their pharmaceutical needs, any of their medicine needs. It gives them 3 teleconsultations. Now, the teleconsultations again are super important because healthcare is an issue, especially at this end. There is a burnout that kind of tends to happen within the within the hospitality ecosystem. At the same time, mental health. A lot of us keep talking about the pandemic and life before and after, but the hardest hit was the employees within this organization. So for a lot of them, there is a fair bit of PTSD still, about losing their career, losing their job, having to migrate back home. So I think it's important to address that. Besides, obviously, getting stability and working on the other part of this, the current workforce needs access to mental health. And therefore, as part of our application, we say a doctor is just a few clicks away. So the first part of it, the immediate teleconsultation happens with a clinical psychologist or someone who's a therapist. And obviously, if they need a face-to-face and in-person consultation, then that's also enabled through the app. A lot of times people move from these migratory states, and we've been talking about how to kind of recruit from these states. So there are various initiatives that we've actually taken off. But once they're in a new city, where do they spend their money? They spend their money on the travel, they spend their money on housing, and they spend their money on food. So why can't we build something for the community and for the entire ecosystem? And therefore, we have cut deals with a lot of the ecosystem enablers, hospitality partners, travel partners, so intercity travel, your intracity travel, your food, your stay, all of that we've created deals specifically on the Calms app. Now, all of this is tech-based, so that's why when we say, how do we kind of do this? So it's seamless, it's all tech-based. It required us to do multiple partnerships. As a company, we believe that we want to focus on one thing, and that's the acquisition of talent, the retention of talent, and obviously working with our partners to make sure that they've got the right talent at the right time. And we don't want to get into some of the other things. So we've partnered with a established NBFC. We've partnered with Onsurety, that's a well-funded company. We're partnering with a lot of the other funded startups in the ecosystem to ensure that we bring the best holistic package to your employee. And this goes a long way in the long run because we do what we're good at and they do what they're good at, right? So a little bit on how we are actually acquiring talent today for hospitality. We've got these calm centers, and I'll quickly show you that. So we've got these little kiosks and touch points that we're doing, and we're piloting 25 of these across the country where a candidate can come in and basically do a basic career counseling. And that would include taking a few tests, doing an analysis on what is their background, what is their innate strengths, what is their passion points, what they aspire to be, and based on that, give them a career pathway into what are the roles within hospitality that they can actually work towards, and what's the next step once they've identified that, hey, I want to be a chef, I want to be commis, I want to be in management, I want to get in marketing, whatever it is. We show them the pathway to that. And these points also double up as Suvidha centers. So, we're calling this Kamyabi centers, from Calm to Kamyabi. And the goal is, before they leave their hometown, before they kind of migrate, help them with everything that they require so that they have this is literally a grassroots approach to acquiring talent. So assist them with the long distance travel, assist them with any kind of interview process that needs to happen remotely. All of the Aadhaar card, the creation of whatever documentation that they require, the background checks, all of that happens through the Suvidha centers. And for us, this aids in also them discovering businesses and brands that they would have typically not discovered. So a lot of them know they want to work with a QSR, they know they want to work with an established brand, but they don't have too much background on the brand. And a lot of times it's difficult for them to even reach out to the brand. So this gives them a bird's eye view of all of the brands within the hospitality industry, people that are hiring, and basically what is the next step into getting a role within that organization. So as a pilot, we're doing 24 approach where we're available in every small town in partnership with the local governance and the local panchayats, etc., to ensure more youth are coming in back into the hospitality space. And so these calm centers, largely, there are 13 migratory states, and we're working with field mobilization across them, so helping them with travel, accommodation, etc. We've created an app called a freelance FFR, which is our freelance field recruiter. So again, access to the network on, if you look at digital platforms, it becomes a little difficult because it's a very wide funnel to just target people within hospitality. While it's easier for me to get people at the top end of the spectrum, when you get down to your front of house and you get into your commie one, it becomes difficult to identify where these people are. Therefore, it's always best to use a referral network or people who are already recruiting in the space. So our FFR is almost like a multi-recruitment arm where we have people that have actually worked in HR or have worked in an organization or have a network of peers that they can tap into. They're ready for a job within the hospitality sector. So we've got an app that rewards them. Part of whatever the commission is that we charge goes back to the field recruiter. And it's a nominal charge, but it ensures that they're incentivized to mobilize their network and to it incentivizes them to push people back into the fold. And we're working now with closely with NSDC. We've just been certified for the THSC 3 or 4 programs. And the reason we wanted to do that was also to look at rapid skilling. How do you kind of, at least for some functions, kind of reduce the gap from the time of identification of a job role to fulfilling it. And besides, obviously, people who've got experience, when you have freshers, there is a gap. So you'll see that the training period takes about 2-3 months, and that needs to come down 15 days. How do we bring that down to 15-20 days? And we're working closely on doing that. So this is how we're acquiring talent right now. As hygiene factors, I think all partners need to look at what are they doing actively. So besides job boards, obviously, and partnerships like what we're doing at Calm, the word really has to get out there. And incentivizing your internal teams is actually one of the best ways to get good talent. I'm sure you've all seen this, but running an internal incent program, a rewards program, where every time there is a new job opening, your people from within the organization are actually referring candidates or kind of shaking their network to figure out who's right, is a great way to do it. But you need to use technology in a way where there is some sort of recognition program. There should be some sort of reward program for people who have some longevity in your organization. And all of those things, are things that need to go on. The career pages, the SEO, the search traffic that comes in, a lot of times people search for your brand and say jobs in X. And it's important that, as on your own website or on your various social feeds, you're constantly obviously pushing these jobs. So our platform, again, will help you create a vanity URL where it's the name of your company.com, but at the same time, we can provide you with the ability to push jobs onto your own domain. So on your own website, on your careers page, all of that can be powered through us. And with that, we actually will do social distribution. So the job then gets posted to multiple job boards, to multiple social channels. There's a link that comes back to a WhatsApp, a catch-all address that allows us to answer any real-time questions. And at the same time, we've got our own application tracking system. So this is a unique URL that we now generate, and we can basically ensure that any inbound requests or any inbound kind of candidates that are looking at a job in your organization find your organization, or if they don't, they find out more about you, and then we can send you a digest of most of these people that are looking at a job in your organization. Okay, so these are just some of the future initiatives that we are doing. And again, tech does play a large part in this. The skill on wheels is something that we feel is something that will help with a lot of the evangelizing that we need to do. So, like we said, getting people back to hospitality requires, a little bit of marketing. Okay. So that's about it from my end.
Rishi, thank you very much. I think I've always wondered personally, what role tech is going to play when it comes to being able to provide support from hiring to training to managing our teams better. And it's great to see that we have a homegrown tech solution for this. So, congratulations. I think this is going to be key for our hospitality industry. Um, Before moving on to the last panelist for the day, I'd like to inform our viewers that if you guys have any questions for any of our panelists after Haley's presentation, please feel free to comment, leave your query in the comment section, and for any of the panelists, and we'll get to them. Moving on to our last panelist for the day, we have Haley Gandhi, who's the key accounts manager at Petpooja. Haley has been a part of Petpooja for 3 years. With her exceptional problem-solving skills and eagerness to learn about new tech, she leads the key accounts team responsible for providing around-the-clock service and guidance to Petpooja's premium clients like Jumbo King Mumbai, Gianni's Delhi, La Piro's Chandigarh, and Honest Gujarat. Haley, over to you.
Thank you so very much, Pankil, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so very much, NRAI, for organizing this particular webinar today, which I believe is one of the biggest problems of restaurant industry, managing the manpower. I guess a lot of us are facing this as an issue today, and I am really sure that this is going to be a big challenging problem all across the industry. I will quickly try and share my screen so that I can start presenting. So yeah, I will try and introduce myself as well once. So this is Haley, representing Petpooja here, and I will also try and tell everyone about what Petpooja does. Petpooja is basically a restaurant management system representing and powering more than 45,000 restaurants all across India. We have like more than managing more than 35% of the order volume from Zomato and Swiggy all across India, and are now also moving towards the international market, providing the same sort of services around the clock. While all the other speakers have already spoken about the challenges that this particular industry is facing, I would also like to highlight some of the problems, and I will also try and focus on the operational part of it. So while managing restaurants and being a part of this particular industry, a lot of problems are on the operational side of it. And I will actually try and bifurcate these issues into the three levels. The first one would be at the owner level, the second one would be at the managerial level, and the third one would be at the staff level, possibly the people who actually work around the clock at the restaurant and who have been managing and serving the clients with the best of their capacities. So these are the basic problems that this particular industry is facing. What I would try and say is choosing the best POS partner and choosing the best technology. How is it going to help maintaining the operation, and how is it going to help you better provide your services, or possibly do something that's exceptionally well for your restaurant or for your business. I will try and focus on the chain outlets as well. While I've gotten an opportunity to interact with a lot of brands who are a part of this industry, these are the basic problems. It's like lack of centralized monitoring system, lack of skilled staff and high attrition rate, high amount of unmonitored staff and pilferage, lack of accurate business reports, and the fifth one is, of course, controlling the staff. The first point that I would try and focus on would be what do you think are the challenges that the owners face, and what exactly are the requirement at the owner level. The first one would be to know your business. At the end of the day, you want to know how much is your restaurant doing, how much are all the outlets doing, and at the end of the day, obviously you want to know the reports, and you want to know how much is the restaurant making profits. You at the end want to know that what is the operational cost of running this particular business. So Petpooja is basically going to help you out, provide all the sorts of reports that are available and all the sorts of customization that you would want to do in order to run this particular business. Let's say you're closing your restaurant at 12:30 and you get to know the report for the day and the transactions that have happened for the day at like 12:45. You don't need a lot of time, you don't need the hardware, it's just a click away on your phone and you'll be able to look at the report just like this. So it's like it is easy valuation, and we've interacted with a lot of our clients. One of the biggest clients that we have, which is based out of Mumbai, is Jumbo King. They've created their reports in such a great manner that they've provided their formats to their area managers, to their managers, to their billers, and they exactly know that this is what I'm supposed to submit to my owners. And uh, the positive part about the owners is they exactly know that these are the best performing restaurants for me, these are the least performing outlets for me, and this is the best selling product for me, and possibly the least selling products as well. So you get to know the crux of it, and you exactly know what exactly do you need to focus on. The second point that I want to highlight would be pause for the managers. While there are a lot of people who are working into this industry, and there would be a lot of people who would be working at the restaurant level, there are billers, there are managers, there are waiters, and I'm sure a lot of other people also who are managing this particular business. For managers, I'm sure they are facing an issue on how do they delegate the task to the actual people, how do they actually what do you call it, how do they actually see their productivity, how do they make sure that the people who are working in the organization and the people who are working at the outlet perform to their best of the capacity. So at the end of the day, you want to know and you want to make your team work in the best possible manner. So Petpooja is basically going to help you uh, see at the overall dashboard and see how is the team performing, what are the pain points for their employees, if at all there are any operational challenges that they're facing, or anything that they would want to know at the operational level, possibly the best performers and the people who need to work on their efficiency. So I think this is one point that would help a lot of people and is going to resolve a lot of problems. The Petpooja being at the back end and being the tech support of the restaurant industry would want to help employees to focus on the food that they are preparing and the kind of service that they are providing. So it's like we would want to give the best sort of back office support that we can provide so that you can actually focus on what is much needed for you, and the rest will be taken care by Petpooja. The third and the best uh, option and the third and the best aspect of this particular presentation would be knowing the problems at the staff level. So be it your billers, be it your waiters, they all need to know what exactly is supposed to be done. And what we've observed while interacting with our with a lot of our clients is not a lot of people are very well educated in this particular industry. A lot of them do not understand the languages because they've been coming from a different background, or possibly they do not have had they've not had that experience to know these products and the industry that they're into. They are not that tax savvy people, and they would want to be comfortable with it but are not provided enough support for operating the systems well. Petpooja basically is going to help you with the best trainings that we can provide. The best part about Petpooja would be it is a very user friendly software, and it is made in a way that the lot of tasks which are done at the operational level gets easier. And let's say I'll give you one more example. A lot of waiters or chefs who would be preparing it would not know a specific language. Petpooja also gives you an option that whenever you receive an order and whenever there is a QOT that is getting printed, gets printed in a regional language. Let's say they do not understand English, you have an option to get it printed into Hindi. And I what better than providing a particular input in the regional language that you are most comfortable with. We've also had customers who are operating into multi-cuisine, international customers who are working into multi-cuisine restaurants. One of the chef would be preparing possibly Punjabi food. The other one is providing Mongolian food. Uh, and we do have an option to create KOTs into two different languages, making sure that both the chefs are comfortable enough to provide inputs to their kitchen staff, and making sure that it is performed in the best possible manner. I think making the staff comfortable about what they are doing is the most important thing, because that is how they are going to be comfortable working into this industry. And it is also going to increase it is also going to increase their efficiency about working. I'm sure if they are comfortable with what they are doing, they'll be much more willing and ready to provide the consumers with the best of their services. So I think creating a proper system for them, wherein they do not really have to put in a lot of efforts just to make sure what exactly is the task that is supposed to done. I'm sure this is going to give them an edge over what they're doing currently. So I think these are the three things that I wanted to talk about. While I quoted an example of creating customized reports, there is another product that we have which is called waiter calling system. Waiter calling system is basically a small device that you can put in on your table at your restaurant. This is specifically for the restaurants which are dine-in restaurants. So there's a small device that you can put in your table. Three simple buttons that it has: waiter, water, and bill. While a lot of consumers are coming at your restaurant and they would want to know how and you would want to provide the best services, and they also want to have that privacy. We've heard this from a lot of our clients, and you can trust me on this. They've been loving this particular product, and they've also got this as a feedback from their consumers, that it feels so much refreshing and it feels so really great to us that there are no 10 people who are looking at us constantly. Not that they would want to hamper the experience. It's just that they also want to stay there and check whether you need some services. But then providing this particular device as a service, they're making sure that they have enough space while they're going out and want to have that extraordinary experience. And it also is much more manageable at the staff level also, that they exactly know that the table number 3 requires water, table number 5 requires the bill. It is like the to and fro that happens at the restaurant level by the waiters is much more convenient than what it is before this particular product is used. While I've also been talking about technical and technological aspect of it, one thing that we've heard from our clients, I think, which is the best solution that we can provide is, so while we were interacting with while we've been interacting with a lot of clients, I think one of the best feedback that I've received from one of my clients is, so it is a very well-known brand from Mumbai, which is a bar sort of a setup. They have a closing time of 1 a.m. And earlier, before they were using Petpooja, the staff who was operating on this particular industry used to take 2 hours after the restaurant is closed, and a lot of times it used to happen that they used to miss the bus, not the bus, miss the local train, and which was the last local train that they could get is at around 2 a.m. and they could not go back home just because they were not really able to reconcile the reports at the end of the day. After using Petpooja, what we've gotten as a feedback is they're able to close the restaurant at around 1, and they're able to close the operation by 1:30, and it is so much pleasure for them to go back home every day. It is not really about uh, uh, maintaining this particular task, but it is about maintaining that basic hygiene for your employees, that they get to see these basic things at the operational level, and which makes a lot of importance for them, that they get to go back home. I'm sure a lot of us understand the importance of this particular aspect, and this is going to make them feel comfortable and be positive about what they are doing. So I think these are the impacts that restaurant make on this particular industry. I think this is the comparison that you can see. How was the staff management without POS, and how is the staff management going with POS? We will also be sharing this particular presentation once this live is over, and you can actually go through this. Uh, Basically, these are the things that we wanted to make sure that our consumers and customers use, just to make sure that we enable them with the best of the products and the services that we are operating with. There are two more products that we have, which is called Suppliers Hub and Tweeto. Tweeto is basically an application which will help you with more than 50,000 templates and graphics. uh, it's like a lot of us actually create these templates and would want to upload it on Wednesday when there's an offer going on, or maybe on a Friday when you would want to offer them with a special discount. But then we are not really finding the time to create this particular tool. Tweeto is actually going to help you create this particular template and a one pager in like 1 or 2 minutes, and you're good to go. So basically these are the additional services that we are providing, which are going to give you an edge over what any other service provider is doing. So I think this is it from my side, and if at all there are any questions, I would be happy to take those questions, and we are uh, open for any
Thank,
discussion we would want to have.
Thank you so much, Haley. I think we oftentimes underestimate the value of us servers spending time with the guests when they are doing other things like entering the order, getting the bill. So
I'm
I
sure.
think the kind of solutions that you are providing definitely makes sense. If there are no questions, I'd like to sort of end this panel on just a quick rapid fire, and just get your ideas on, some blue sky ideas on the future of the industry, the future of HR practices in our restaurant industry. So if each panelist could just give one or two sentences quickly on what you guys feel is going to be a great idea for the future of the restaurant industry. We can start with Niloy, and then Rupak, and then Rishi, and then Haley.
For me, the best HR practice is to reach out to all your employees as much as possible and just make them convinced in this particular statement that yes, we are listening, we have ears, and we are there for you, and we are there for you for everything. It is not about only providing money, providing salary, or securing your job. It's all about that we are there for you for everything, whether you need us personally, or maybe professionally. If you can convince this to your employees, they will always be with you. So creating and like spreading more emotions to your employees, I think would be the best thing that we can provide from HR team.
Okay, Rupak.
Yeah, well, since it's a blue sky idea, I believe if we could probably, if I mean, I would imagine if there could have been more government recognition for the hospitality industry itself, which is majorly lacking. We all would agree to that. NRAI is trying to do a lot towards this and try and be the connect. And we also probably have a set norms with relation to work culture, standards, qualification, remuneration, and facilities pan India for all our hospitality professionals, which can't be altered by any operator, which should eventually benefit both the business owner and the employee. Like, for instance, we have a few of our outlets out of India in UK as well, where there is the grievance redressal system is universal, and there is a lot of transparency in referral checks, and there is an open market with regards to hourly wages and marketplace filtration, and the qualification within the industry is given a lot of weightage. So you can, as a let's say a beverage specialist or a chef, you can actually basically yourself and have a certain tag, whether it is in terms of remuneration and uh, you know asset value attached to you. So that could be one thing which should probably help our prosperity individuals.
Thank you.
Sorry. So besides the grassroots stuff that I was talking about earlier, I think that obviously is critical in us getting more people within the ecosystem. So that's clearly something that's there. I think within our organization we already have ambassadors for our brand. They work for us. They actually have seen the benefits of that. I think creating some sort of scholarship program for their family members or individuals, that might aid in getting you one reliable talent fast, and obviously people who have they've already done the background. They know their relatives working with the organization, and it's basically you're assisting by creating a more of the family into the system, and therefore they are more tend to have some loyalty to the brand and stick on in the long run. So I think more opportunities, whether it's scholarship for hospitality or scholarship for them coming into the organization, or even broadly various other scholarship benefits for education is something that you can look at, and I think that would be a good one to start with.
Thank you, Rishi. Haley?
While I totally agree with what Rishi said, providing scholarships for the education, one more thing that I would want to say about this is upskilling the existing employees that you have. Because being into this industry, I've seen people who started from being a waiter, then moving to being a biller, and then moving to a manager, area manager, and are now leading the organization at a level that's growing. So it's like when you make them feel comfortable, and while everyone is working for their own growth, I believe providing them a platform that is making them grow, and that is empowering them with a lot of more exposure, I'm sure that is going to lead you a long way.
Pankil,
Yeah.
I would just like to continue that, like what Heli was saying.
Please go ahead.
A small thing that I just remember is that during my childhood days, my mom used to tell me that you are very good at peeling off potato skin, so you
Okay.
are the best. And I actually was convinced with that. So what I used to do is that whenever the potatoes available at kitchen, I just went there. I used to go there and start peeling off the potato skin, and I actually thought that yes, I am best in that. So later on, I realized that my mom was a great leader. She actually convinced me of doing like get the job done. So that's what exactly I want to say, that being a leader, we always need to make sure that your employees, you need to make them believe that you are best at your service. Instead of doing a lot of criticization, if you really start appreciating people, slowly they will develop, and among everyone individually they will start thinking that they are the best.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think leadership is oftentimes underestimated in our organizations, and thank you for that insight, Niloy. And anytime you want to peel some potatoes, we sell a lot of French fries, so you're more than welcome to come and both peel the potatoes and sell those French fries. But you guys, thank you so much. I think for me, as somebody who's been in the restaurant industry for 15 years, this was very insightful. So I'm sure it was extremely insightful for our viewers as well. Got to learn a lot from all of y'all on the various aspects of this most critical part of our industry. Definitely want to thank Petpooja for their constant support through the NRAI Insiders Guide series and for all the other initiatives. For all the viewers who have participated in this, the presentations by our panelists are going to be available online on the NRAI website. So you have free access to that. Please go through them in case you want to fall back. And thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.